Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the So I Heard podcast. If you guys are new to this, I'm KD. Hopefully, you guys are having a good one. Christmas is coming. Christmas is going to be here soon, man. Hopefully, you guys are ready for it. Hopefully, you guys have already done your shopping. I want you guys to enjoy it as much as you can. I know I'll be trying to do the same thing, but then also people are also getting ready for. Anyway, people are getting ready for the new year. And, with the new year also comes new resolutions. And, I don't know. If you guys are listening to this on YouTube or, anywhere where you can comment, comment down below. What are some of your resolutions if you guys have thought about it, so far. I think honestly for me, and this, it might be one that's just so common, but I already started exercising a little bit more than I was, a couple of months ago. So, I want to continue to exercise and get into good shape. I feel like I want to lose maybe around 40 something pounds. Maybe less, maybe more than that, right? It was funny because I was looking at like this chart. I Googled this chart because I seen this chart on social media like some months back, like earlier this year. And basically the chart tells you like what your weight should be, for your height and everything. And according to the chart, I'm fucking fat. I'm obese. Like I'm obese, bro. Like I don't know. Like, I know so many people bigger than me or whatever, or I know some people that are even like shorter than me that might weigh way more than me. And I'm not like talking shit about them, but I'm just saying like me looking at them, I'm like, yo, they don't even really seem that big. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not on my 600 life or whatever the show is called. And dude, let's take a second to talk about that, right? I get it, man. We love food. I love food. But some of the stuff on there is crazy, but at the same time, you have to blame the people around them because they are enabling these people. It's like instead of just saying no, it's like, oh yeah, well, we'll still get you the food just to get you to shut up. But it's like, dude, what can they really do? Like, don't get them the food and leave the house. Like, like they're not going to be able to chase you. What are they going to do? Just keep calling you, ignore the call, I don't know. For me, I feel like I wouldn't have anybody getting to that certain weight. And I get it. Like there's people in life that are big and of course they're happy or whatever. But, when it's to the point where you have a TV show about you and it's to the point where people are constantly telling you like, yo, you weigh so much, you're going to die soon. It's kind of like, yo, we need to intervene and make sure this shit does not happen, So I don't know, man. I feel like I would just have to be that person that turns into a damn drill sergeant. And I'm not saying like my eating habits are good, dude. That they've gotten better, but I used to eat the craziest stuff. You know what I mean? Like, dude, when I was younger, I used to like in my early 20s. Like right in my early 20s, dude, I was eating the most garbage shit in the world. Like I definitely was. I remember at this time, it was a McDonald's that was not far from my house. And that McDonald's used to have like a day where it was like Big Macs were $1. And that's a long time ago. But it was like that McDonald's promotional thing. Because I think, McDonald's has things that all of them have. But like there's some that have their own promotional stuff. And they used to have like, I think it was like Big Mac Mondays or something like that, where Big Macs were like $1. Dude, I would get 2 Big Macs and just smash them. Or In and Out, I would get like 2 burgers and kill that. Or just like I used to eat so damn much. And I have to say thank you to Cheryl because portion control she does help me out with. And I'm not really eating as much junk food as I used to. So that's something that's good, but I just need to get back into the exercising or get more into the exercising because I already kind of started exercising more. And that's something I really want to do for the new year. Like, really get to that point and be strict and get to that goal of losing that weight. And oh my God, dude, I've already thought about it. Like, what is it going to be like trying to keep that weight off? Because, as you get older, your metabolism slows down. So you can't really just eat everything. But one good thing is also, dude, been using the air fryer, and it's so good. You know what I mean? Been trying to change up so much stuff. Like, I really don't fry a lot of stuff with actual grease. If there's any type of oil or anything, I'm normally using olive oil or something like that. Not even using butter as much as I used to use butter. So that's also good. So that's why I feel like for me, really, it's just like, yo, I need to get into the exercising much. Ooh, damn. Did y'all hear that? Like, it sounded like I was about to bark or something. About to bark. Is my throat dry? Like, do I need to get some water? But yeah, like, dude, I just feel like I just need to get more into the exercising and stuff. And there was a point where Cheryl and I were really like hitting the gym, and then the COVID stuff happened, and they were like, yo, you have to be in the gym. Like, when they got to the point where they were really saying like you have to exercise with your mask on, like there was a point where it's like, yeah, you wear your mask until you get to whatever machine you're at, and then you can like take it off and exercise. But then they got to the point where it was just like, dude, you have to keep your mask on the whole time. And if I'm trying to kill some cardio, bro, that's not gonna happen. I'm like, I'm getting winded like crazy, just breathing all of my air into the mask, and it's just like, dude, I'm suffocating, bro. Like, so, yeah, that was one reason why we really kind of stopped going to the gym. Another resolution for me is I need to stop spending money on so much like random stuff. It's not stuff that I don't use. I pretty much, if I'm buying stuff, I am using it for the most part, because I can think of a couple of things that I'm not using as much that I need to. But still, even when it doesn't seem like it's that much, it does add up. And once you add up everything that you spent, you're like, damn, I've used a cool amount. So I want to become better with my spending habits and money, and it's always good to go out, right? It's good to go out and enjoy the environment, or whatever setting you're in. It's good to explore that and build those memories and stuff like that. But sometimes it's like, dude, you don't realize how much money you're spending actually going out. And I live in Los Angeles, right? So it's a lot of places to go to, but then Los Angeles is expensive. So when we're going out and enjoying certain stuff, and it's like, damn, I'll think about it sometime. I'm like, yo, within that week, I've spent like a couple of $100s going out, and it's like, yo, I don't really need to. I definitely need to save way, way more. I know I can do it. It's just, yeah, I just so I can have money for different stuff. You never know what might come up, and or not even just come up, but just become better at doing that, So yeah, those are my main resolutions that I was thinking about earlier, and I was like, oh, okay, that's what I want to do. And it's not just starting, at the at January 1st, but I really just want to do that in general, But I think if we're gonna say resolution, since we're so close to the end of the year, might as well say that. So, but yeah, man, hopefully you guys have been enjoying the episodes. I know that I've had some episodes where it's like I have the co-host, which is Cheryl, and then, I have these solo episodes. But my main goal, like I keep saying in these podcast episodes, is to just keep podcast episodes coming out. I don't want to get to a point where I miss one and then I end up getting into my mind that I'm comfortable with. I'm like, oh, okay, it's all right for me to miss, a podcast episode. And I get it. Like, I was watching a podcast earlier, and they don't always do it. They were talking about how much they've been slacking with the podcast. and you know they haven't done it in a while. Sometimes it's like they're not doing it for like a month, like months, and everything. So I really don't want to get to the point where I'm even missing days of doing the podcast. And if you guys are new to this, the podcast episodes come out every single Monday. This is episode 32 or 33. I think it's 32 if I'm not wrong. No, actually, damn, it might be 33. I'm not gonna look through the computer right now, but yeah, man, like excited about keeping this going, and this is something that I want to actually just continue to do. Something I want to carry on through 2022, and just build up and make it even more better and more successful and everything, and reach out to like a wider audience and stuff. And hopefully, you guys do enjoy all of that. But yeah, anyway, this podcast episode might seem random to some people, right? It might seem random because this podcast episode is just going to be about like crazy stories, I guess, like a story time in a way, right? So in my 20s, if you guys have ever watched or ever listened to any of my previous podcast episodes of me talking about how like I've kind of changed, you know, over the years and everything. And, you know, I think that just happens with growth, and, you know, you get older and you start to realize what really matters, and, you know, you start to focus on different stuff, and, you know, things become important. Other things become important or whatever. You still like to have fun. You're still you, but at the same time, you start to feel a little bit different. Like, I don't feel like I'm old. I don't feel anything like that. You know what I mean? I feel like the same person I felt like at 20. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the only difference is like the metabolism slowed down and stuff like that. Like, I can't just kill food like I used to. But other than that, yeah, I don't feel aged. I'm not one of those people that are going around like, oh, my legs hurt. Like, oh, like, yeah, I have the occasional like, oh, my back might hurt a little bit, but it's not like I'm like I'm just like handicapped or something. Like, you know, some people, they get to a point where it's like, dude, their legs always hurt, or it's like their back hurts to the point where it's just like they're like, oh, I can't do anything. Or like you have the people that have like constant head, like I almost never have headaches, and that's something I have always been happy about. So like back then, you know, things used to get wild in my early 20s. I was going to party so much, going to clubs, and it was just so much fun enjoying this stuff. It was a big part of my life at the time. And, you know, even after work, you know, getting off of work around like, well, at one time I was getting off of work at 11, and then it went to 10, but still, this is at night, and really just bringing your clothes to work, getting dressed at work, and then heading out, and then, you know, you're at a party or a club or whatever, or even if you have to just like hurry up, zoom to the house, do whatever, and then, you know, go to where you need to get to. I was making it happen. We were really making it happen, like the weekends, like all kind of stuff. And it was just so much fun in the city, you know. It was the time where, yeah, of course, crime was going on. Of course, you had like people acting stupid in the clubs, fighting, and then you have like the occasional like club shooting or something like that. But it's not as bad as it feels like things are now. You know what I mean? It feels like just so much is going on to the point where myself and a lot of other people that I know are kind of like, yo, I don't even know if I want to go out. Like, you know, people are tripping. Like tonight, I saw an advertisement for the rapper Lil Baby. I guess it's his birthday, and he's having like a party tonight at some club or whatever. And people were just in the comments like, yo, it's about to be wild. And they didn't mean wild like fun. Like, they meant like, yo, people are going to be tripping. And I was just thinking about that. And that's why I was like, yo, back in the day, like, we used to just have fun, and it wasn't really no issues or whatever. So, yeah, one thing you do know, if you guys go out or if you guys were at a point in your life where you were really going out, you know all about the pregame. The pregame is almost as important as going out, right? So you have the pregame where it's like you guys might sip a little bit, you know, and I'm not saying y'all got to drive drunk or anything like that. I'm not saying anything like that. One good thing, bro, When you go out, and not saying just bring this person because this person can be the designated driver. I'm not saying that. Don't just use that person. If you have somebody that is a part of your group that's cool, that you know is probably going to like smash maybe like one or two drinks, not be gone like that, have that person around, bro. Like for real. Because you there's some nights where you really are like, nah, I'm gonna just chill. And then the night ends up being one of those crazy epic ass nights, and then next thing you know, you're like trying to sleep it off or something. You know what I'm saying? Um, but back then, dude, we were going to these clubs, and I remember it was this club called La Vida. It was in Hollywood. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. You know, maybe a lot of you guys aren't even from California, but La Vida used to be so cool. And the reason I used to like La Vida so much was because it had the dopest music. Like, it had good music. And I like music. Like, I love different genres of music. Like, I even like house music. I even like, you know, techno club music and different stuff like that. And rock music and different stuff. I'm used to a bunch of different types of music, but at the same time, this club pretty much played like hip hop the whole night. You know, so if you were looking for a club and you really wanted to hear hip hop, you're going to La Vida. Like that's what it was back then. And what really had us going to like La Vida was also there were these YouTubers, right? It was this rapper named Matt Grams, and then it was this other dude, damn, I forgot what his name was, but then they had like the guy that was shooting on the camera. His name was like Frog the Barber. And I think these dudes are like from Compton or whatever. And they had a show called Go Get Her. And it was crazy, dude. I wish more people knew about it on YouTube at the time, because it was literally like a reality show, but they made it themselves. And it was like, it was so far above so many people's content. And it was just so, it was crazy. Almost every single video was them like going to the club, and it wasn't just La Vida, but that was one of the main clubs that they would go to was La Vida. They will also go to like, you know, they'll be at like clubs in Vegas, or if they were like traveling, Miami, whatever. But anyway, La Vida used to be turned up, bro. Like I promise you, like La Vida was to the point where it was like, dude, I don't even remember what their drinks were like in La Vida. It was just, I remember getting beer there. I don't remember ever getting like real alcohol at La Vida. But we used to pregame. What we used to do was we used to drive all the way to Hollywood sober, and we would basically buy a bottle on the way. And we used to park into this, it was like a closed down car wash. I don't know if it was open on any other days, but like at that time it was closed down, and they would have like a parking attendant or whatever. And we would like park in there and bring the bottle out and just be like throwing back shots or whatever. And then we would go and go into La Vida, and it was just so much damn fun. Like there were nights where it was like, you probably didn't even remember what the hell was going on, you know? Times where I had to be carried in. Like, I remember this one time, everybody's in there dancing, you know, and I'm dancing with this girl. I don't know. I had to be gone. I picked this girl up, and when I picked her up, like, we're dancing for like a little bit, and I forgot what happened. I don't know if I kind of slipped or what, but I dropped the girl, right? Dropped her ass, dude. She's on the ground. She looks up like, what the fuck? And then I'm just looking like, yo, my bad. And I was just like, I can't believe I dropped this girl. I think we were there for like somebody's birthday or something like that. But yeah, dude, didn't know this girl. And I think I ended up finding out later she was like a friend of somebody whose birthday it was. And I was just like, damn, she's like low-key a part of our group. And I dropped her. But man, like, dude, back then things used to be so much fun. And even before that, I started going to a cool amount of parties. I would say like when I was like 18. I'll say 18. That's when I really started. So, before I was 18, I wasn't really drinking or anything. I wasn't drinking really at 18. Like, let's be honest, like, you know, there's house parties, kids are drinking. Maybe like a little bit, but not really, like not even to the point where I'm like getting drunk like that, you know. um and then 19 and stuff, but then like once I was really able to buy alcohol, that's when I was really, drinking more. I wasn't trying to burden anybody and be like that young dude that's like, yo, can you get us some beer? Like, nah, I wasn't trying to do that. So, and it was so much stuff. Like, I never smoked weed until like later on. You know what I'm saying? So, it wasn't like I was in high school and doing all of this wild stuff or whatever. Like, you know, I was going to parties back in high school also, but they were never parties that were with kids from my school. I didn't really hang out with kids from my school. Like, I had my group, of course, like my group of friends, but other than that, like as far as like really going to parties and stuff, I wasn't doing it. Well, not with the kids from my school. I was going to parties like from other schools with other people that I knew, and those were fun, you know. And it was so funny because I remember when I got older and we were going to parties, and then now you have like alcohol involved, and I was just like, yo, I remember the parties back then being completely sober, no alcohol or anything, and having the time of my life. But then you go out, right? And you go out as an adult, and then you start thinking like, oh man, I gotta have some shots, or I have to drink. And it's like, do you really still need to, you know? And it's not like you're drinking because, some people go to parties and they're like, oh man, I had a stressful week. Like, yeah, I need to toss something back. But like, dude, a lot of times for me, it's not like anything like that. It's not like I'm living some super stressed life where I'm like, oh, I have to have alcohol or anything like that. So, I still drink sometimes, but I think really recently I've gotten to the point where I feel like I'll drink and then I'll be like, what was the point of that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I got a little buzz, but it was just like I was kind of just chilling. It wasn't like I was going on this night adventure or something like that where it's like, okay, the alcohol I add to it. So now it's like, that's another thing. I guess that's another resolution I can add for 2022 is to really, really cut back on drinking alcohol. I definitely don't drink it as much as I did, like maybe like at the beginning, towards the beginning of the year or whatever. But still, yeah, I think I'm getting to that point. But anyway, back then, you know, going to parties in high school and just being out and enjoying everything and dancing and listening to music or whatever was just so much damn fun. And I really did start thinking that when alcohol came into play, and I was just like, dude, how the hell were we enjoying stuff so much back then? And yeah, it was just like it was different, But getting into the point where things really started to change. I remember I was like in I was about to say 8th grade. Like, what the fuck am I talking about? I was 18. I was 18 at the time, and my homie Andrew had a party, right? And I'm not trying to I don't know why I'm acting like Andrew's parents are listening, but anyway, Andrew had his house, right? And his parents are from Jamaica. So they would leave sometimes and be in Jamaica. And it would be him and his sister at the house or whatever. So he would have parties sometimes. And this party was crazy, right? So I'm, like I said, 18, and everybody was there. Like, this was like one of the first parties that I went to with people from my school, like that I went to high school with, right? I mean, I think like I might have went to a couple of other ones, but I think this was like the first big one, right? So it was just so many people there. And at the time, a lot of people weren't used to how I was outside of school. So when they would see me at parties back then, they'd be like, yo, you turn up? Like yo, you really be having fun. Like, you really be like, you're a lot of fun. Like, it got to the point where it was people I really didn't socialize in high school, like inviting me so many places, because it was just like, yo, like, why were you never at the parties in high school? And it was just like, really, I was cool with a lot of people in high school, But at the same time, it was like I didn't that was like my limit for people in high school. It was just like, yo, like we go to the same school, we socialize at school. That's it. Like I'm gonna go hang out with these other people. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how it was for me in high school. So um, yeah, so like this party was cool as hell. All I remember was everybody's chilling and one there's like a room where it's like he had pizza. I remember Andrew, dude. Andrew, I don't know if you listened to the podcast, but I was talking to you the other day on Twitter, talking about the Melrose Show on Amazon Prime, or is it Hulu? It's one of them. But anyway, dude, like Andrew, I don't know if you remember, Andrew ordered pizza, right? And everybody's like either in the backyard or they're in another room, because there was a room where they had Guitar Hero hooked up and people were just in there watching people playing Guitar Hero, and they were just like, just playing that. But nobody was in like the dining room area at that time. And that's when the pizza man came, right? Bro, I remember Andrew and the girl I was with at the time. We were all standing in the living room. So then we came in with the pizza. Andrew was like, man, I ain't about to put this shit out yet. So Andrew, and the girl I was with at the time, we went to Andrew's room and we were in there like killing slices of pizza, just sitting in his room killing slices of pizza. And it was funny because like he was just like, yo, I know they about to be hungry. Dude, the pizza, when he put the pizza out, everybody swarmed that pizza. Like they killed that pizza. But that party was so much fun because it was just like people everywhere. It was just so much going on. And I think this wasn't the first time that I smoked weed. Was it? Yo, this might rewrite my whole history of ever smoking weed. Because now that I think of it, this was the first time at this party. Because, okay, all right. I'm going to tell y'all why. All right, so this is the first time that I ever smoked weed was at this party. But I don't even know if I was hitting it right. You know what I mean? This is my first time ever doing that. So, yeah, we're all just sitting in the backyard. And we're just like in like this big circle, kind of like the circle from like That 70s Show, and then everybody's just passing it around. Like I don't even know how many people are in this rotation, but we're smoking, and of course I get my high pretty quickly because I'm not used to weed or whatever, and everybody's just chilling. So then something happens, like I'm still just chill. We go into the house. Everybody's chilling there. I don't know what happened. I don't even know if I was drinking that night, dude. Maybe. I run through the house. The way his backyard is made, right? His backyard is like elevated off of the street. So it's like I'll probably say like maybe 10-foot wall that his backyard is on top of, but there's no gate. So you can pretty much just hop the wall and be in his backyard. Or at least at the time it was like that, right? And next thing you know, I don't know what happened. I really don't know how I got to this point. I'm talking to people and I just out of nowhere it's like, yo, I'm about to jump. And they were like, what? And they didn't know what I was talking about. I run all the way to the backyard. I jump off of the 10-foot wall and roll into the street. I get up immediately and throw up my hands on like some Rocky shit. Like, yeah. And I look back at the backyard and there's people just staring down at me. They're like, oh, he made it. And I was just like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I don't know what made me. I really do not know what got me to that point. I don't know what even I was talking about with people. All I remember was the girl I was with at the time was like, Kirby, no. And then it was like, I think because nobody knew, like I just started moving, and then I was like, I'm a jump, and then they're like, where's he? They're probably thinking like, where's he gonna jump from? But yeah, dude, that was one of the dopest parties, one of the most legendary parties, maybe because it happened to us at such a young age, but at the same time, it was just so much going on, dude. And rest in peace to Antoine, dude. It was a dude that went to our high school, and then he died like a little bit after. But he was there, man. Very, very cool. And it was just crazy, dude. That party was crazy as hell. Alcohol was involved. Yes, it was. Because I remember we had to chill for like a while or something. And we weren't even far from home, but still it was like, yeah, we had to chill. But still, yeah, that was the first night that I ever smoked. So this is why I'm saying that I didn't realize it before, right? So this is what happened. At that party, there was somebody that left weed and it was just sitting there. And Andrew, I don't know if you know it or what, but the girl that I was with, you know who the girl is. You know who I was with back then. She was like, yo, there's weed on the table. And then she put some of the weed in her purse. And then so we just had this weed. I didn't know how to roll anything or nothing. I remember one night we were by my job, but I didn't work there at the time, but it's where I work now. But we were sitting in front of this Barnes and Noble. We had rolled like a fucking zigzag paper. Like it probably was the worst looking joint in the damn world. I know it had to be, bro. But anyway, it worked. We were able to smoke it. And we were sitting on a bench outside of Barnes and Noble. Like, dude, it looked like we were probably like that homeless couple. But I drove there. We didn't know what else to do. And then we just sat on the bench and then smoked. And I thought that was my first time because I think the night of the party, I didn't really get affected like that. But this time we smoked and then we just chilled for like a while. And I remember like everything just like moving and like it felt like everything was like moving in a wave. Like it felt like one of those moments where it's like you're so high you feel drunk kind of. And yeah, it was like the smallest joint. So it wasn't like we were out here just killing. Like, you know how people be trying to roll super, super blunts now and everything. But yeah, dude, just sitting there for a while on that bench, just stuck, like watching people just walk out. And I remember we finally got in the car, and we're like paranoid. We were paranoid because we thought we were gonna get caught. It is so fucking true. And I think because one, we weren't like, this wasn't regular for us. Like this now was the second time. Barnes and Nobles is the second time ever in my life smoking weed. And like I said, like, I don't know what kind of shit we were smoking at the house, at the party, but it just didn't seem like it really hit me like that. Like, I think mainly me jumping off of the 10-foot wall is probably, due to alcohol or something like that. Cause, I just knew that like it had to be something. I don't think I just was totally sober and wanted to jump off a 10-foot wall on some X Games shit. But anyway, so yeah, this is the second time. Got in the car, we're driving, and dude, she is screaming. She is screaming, talking about, yo, the cars are on the wrong side of the road. And I was just like, no, they're not. No, they're not. I'm in the lines. And then she just kept thinking like the oncoming traffic cars were going to collide with us. And I was just like, no. But I'm saying no, really, because I'm like, yo, you're freaking me out. Like, maybe they are. Like, it's to the point where she kept saying it so much to the point where I was like, yo, maybe she's right. Like, maybe I should get into a different lane, but we had to make a left. Excuse me. So we had to make a left, so I couldn't really get into the right lane. And yeah, dude, like as far as that, I just remember that experience at that Barnes and Nobles. I don't remember like what happened once we made it, to the house or whatever. But that was one experience. And that's so crazy talking about this because that made me really realize that that wasn't my first time at Barnes and Noble. For the longest, for years, I was really sitting there thinking like Barnes and Noble was first. And then I had to remember where the weed came from. The weed came from that party. So that meant that I smoked at the party, and that was the first time I ever smoked weed. And again, I have to, well, not again. I don't know if I've ever said this in the podcast episode, but I have to say this. Like, dude, the weed. We had the weed. We still had more because, like I said, we only had a little zigzag, like the small ass zigzag paper, and we smoked more of the weed, or at least I did, right? A little bit more, and I don't know what happened. All I remember was at the time I was working at GameStop, and I got to work. And I'm at work, and I don't even remember what day it was, if it was the weekend or what. But I remember sitting there, I was standing there at work waiting for customers to come in. We worked at like a GameStop that it got business, but it wasn't like super, super crowded. And I remember like things just started feeling like super weird. And I was just like, yo, I didn't feel that when I was coming in. I think I just felt like I was like tired or something. But I'm at work and I start tripping and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I started having this feeling where I'm kind of like, am I dreaming or something? I said like so many times just then, but really I had this feeling like I felt like I was dreaming or something, right? And I tried to like just chill for a minute, you know what I mean? Tried to just stick it out. Then I had to tell our boss, dude. And luckily our boss was cool. Back in the day, I think he said like, when he was younger, he used to like experiment with drugs, but like serious shit, like not just weed. You know what I'm saying? So I knew, I was like, yo, I have to talk to him because I explained everything to him. That's what happened. It was the no, that's wrong. That's wrong. No. Yeah. Okay, so Barnes and Noble had to be the day after, if I'm not mistaken, because the weed from the part. No, okay. Never mind. I got it mixed up. So Barnes and Noble was before the party. Barnes and Noble had to be before the party. That's right. Yeah, Barnes and Noble was before the party because we didn't get that weed from the party. Because the party weed fucked me up. The party weed, I went to work after the party the next day, and I was telling my boss, when I was explaining to my boss what happened, I was telling him like, yo, I went to this party, I smoked this weed, I don't know. And then he's like, yo, maybe the weed's laced. And I'm freaking out because at this point I'm like, no, that means that there's some other type of drug. And I was really like scared, right? I was like, no, there's another drug in me. Like, I don't even know what it was, dude. But I remember like, yo, I was just like, I can't go to the hospital. Like, I can't. Like, I don't know. I don't know what I thought was going to happen. They probably would just gave me something to take the high down. But I was gone, dude. And I had that drive home was like the longest drive home. I promise you. So I remember telling him, and he was like, yo, I'll just like tell them that you stayed the whole day. And I was like, all right, cool. I remember I was driving, and I remember the time. I remember getting home around like 6 something p.m. And I laid down, and I was in my room, and I just laid down, sleep. And then I remember like a few times I got like knocks on my door, and I just lied. I lied and said I wasn't feeling good. I said I feel like I had like, ate something and it just wasn't agreeing with my stomach. Like I had food poisoning or something. And that's what I said. And real shit, I was just in the room like tripping. I was even at home feeling like I was just dreaming. Like I was stuck in a dream. Like I was really sitting there thinking like, am I awake right now or is this a dream? And I kept feeling that way. Fell asleep. Finally, when I woke up, it was like 6 something. And I was like, nah, I couldn't have been just asleep for a little while. You know what I'm saying? Dude, it was 6 something PM the next day. So it was like I was out for almost 24 hours. Like in bed, sleep, like just couldn't get out of bed, was just gone. Still to this day, don't know what it was, right? I ended up hitting up my homie Andrew, and I was like, yo, like, was it something in that weed? Like, what the fuck? And he said this dude that went to our high school brought it, and like, yeah, it was like, it wasn't just regular shit. And I was just like, oh my God. But I was like kind of relieved, like just knowing like I wasn't tripping. And that was one of the most scariest moments ever. And I think after that day, I didn't try to smoke weed again for like maybe, dude, I don't even know how long, for a long ass time. I was like, when people were around me and they had it, I was like, nope, nope, nope. And that meant that the party was the second time that I've ever smoked. I don't know where the weed came from before. I think the girl I was talking to at the time, she probably ended up getting some, and then that's just where that came from. But yeah, it was like stupid gone, like scary ass moment in my life. And yeah, I wasn't trying to fuck with it at all, you know. So when I was going to parties and stuff after that, it was just like, yeah, I'll have some drinks or something like that. And dude, and then that got to the point where stuff started like getting a little bit more crazy. Like we're just, you know, drinking alcohol and stuff. And I'm not, in this episode, I'm not like promoting alcohol or whatever. Like some of these stories, like, let's be honest, they're gonna sound fun as hell because there was fun stuff going on. But at the same time, I was getting like going to these parties and I was getting like wasted, you know. But like, I remember it was this one party, right? And I think I told the story on my YouTube, maybe like a couple of years ago or something like that. I was like playing Forza and I was just talking about it while I was playing Forza. But this is this is the story of the time we busted in somebody else's house. Not broke in. We didn't break in. The door was unlocked. The door was fucking unlocked. Excuse me. But we were going to this party, right? And we went to the store. We got bottles and everything. So I believe at that time, no, we weren't 21 yet. Because with the people I was hanging out with, no. We weren't 21 yet. But I think somebody that was a part of our group was 21 already. So basically, we went to the store. We got bottles and all this different stuff just to take to the party. Like, we weren't, you know, drinking on the way or anything. So we show up on this street. So we look at this house and we see people going into the house. So we're like, oh, okay, the party must be there. Like, nice house, you know. The front door is closed when we get up there. And I forgot how, it might have been like 8 of us. I think it was like 2 cars of us. And we have bottles and everything. We're talking loud and shit like that. Like, just like young shit. Like, you know what I mean? You go into a party, you turned up and everything, ready to have some damn fun. Dude, we open the damn door. Okay, first, let's say this. There's a guy in the driveway. He says what's up to us. He doesn't seem freaked out or nothing that there's like 8 people walking up to the house, right? He's standing next to a SUV and he's just like chilling. He might have been like smoking a cigarette or some shit. I forgot. He's just like standing there. And then we just go to the door, open the door, bust in. But when we bust in the door, we're like, hey, just loud as fuck, saying a whole bunch of shit, right? As soon as we open the door and look down, like, it is literally a family sitting there having dinner, bro. Like grandma sitting at the table. Like, dude, everybody's sitting at this long ass dining room table. and they just all turn and look at us like, but they look freaked out. They're looking like, yo, what the hell is going on? And we're standing there and we're just looking like, oh, this isn't the part that was like, no. We were just looking like, wait, what the fuck? Like, yo, we just busted in somebody else's house. And dude, they were just sitting there looking like they were just having like maybe like a peaceful conversation between family members. And we just come in, hey, all loud, super loud, bruh. And bottles in the air, just holding them up, you know? And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, sorry. I don't even remember if we asked the dude why he didn't say anything. You know what I mean? So when I was telling the story on YouTube, I basically, somebody commented and was like, yo, maybe he was scared. Like, it's 8 people walking up to the house. Walking up to the house, and they were like, yo, he probably didn't want to say that because he probably didn't want to get beat up by the truck. And I was just like, yo, I never thought about that. And then I was like, he was like, yo, I wonder, does he tell people this story of that specific night and be like, yo, I almost got jumped back then or whatever? And I was like dying laughing, dude. That shit was hilarious. And I can't believe we really just busted in there like, dude, you're chilling right there. You're not saying anything. You know, you're giving us the head nod like, hey, what's up? And then, and then we come into the house and grandma and shit are just staring at us like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? So we finally found the party. It was a little bit farther down the street, and then we started hearing the music and seeing other people going towards the house. And then, you know, we found the right one. And this specific night, bruh, at this time, so many people were shopping on Melrose. If you guys don't know where Melrose is, it's like on the way, like maybe around like Hollywood. It's a part of like Los Angeles, but it's a street. And they just have like so many different like stores. They got shoe stores, different clothing stores, but it's a lot of fashion shit that's over there on Melrose. Like the show that I was talking about earlier that Andrew put me on to called Fairfax. It's a cartoon and surround, you know, where Melrose is or whatever. But anyway, I went to this shop, got some clothes before, I think the same day. And back then, you know, you were wearing like Nike Dunks, SB Dunks, maybe like Nike Blazers or something like that as far as like your sneakers. At that point, I don't think that many people were really wearing like, you know, people were wearing Jordans, but still like that was the main thing, like Dunks and like, you know, SB Dunks, which are the ones with the fatter tongue, like skateboarding, but they're still Nike Dunks, or like you were wearing like Nike Blazers or something, right? So I remember I went to this place and I was like, man, this outfit is fucking dope. And the girl I was with at the time was like, yo, man, that I'm gonna tell you what it was. She was like, yo, that outfit is dope as hell, right? So basically, like, I bought this shirt and it had like these turquoise skulls on it, right? But the skulls are like the skulls from, I don't know if you guys skateboard, but like if you guys know about the company called Zero, and they have like their signature board that has the skull on it. It looked like that, but it was a bunch of skulls, and then it had like paint splatters on it that looked like they were maybe like a purplish pink in a way. Then I found some fucking skinny jeans, bro. This is another thing. And people have said it before, right? This is before people were wearing skinny jeans. I promise you. They were just like some really tight jeans, bruh. And they were purple, right? And I remember I wish I could find the picture from the party. But anyway, I had the shirt. It was a black shirt, the blue skulls, and then, or the turquoise skulls, and then it had the pink splatters, and then it had like the purplish pink splatters, the purple jeans, skinny jeans, and then I found like these patent leather DC Dunks. So DC is a skateboarding company also, and the shoes were like black patent leather with white, and then it also had the same blue that the skulls were, and then like it had like some other like the letters, the DC letters on there were pink, right? So I was like, yo, this fit goes together. Everything fits, right? Everything. And I was so fucking skinny at the time. I was like super skinny, right? Got to the party. Everybody's looking at me like, what the fuck? Like, because like I said, nobody was really wearing skinny jeans at the time. Like everybody was still wearing baggy jeans, but I showed up just like dressed like a black skater dude. Like, or I was dressed up like emo kids, kind of like with how they wear the skinny jeans, like mixed with the Converse type look. But I was wearing DC shoes. So if you know about skateboarding shoes, they're normally kind of bulky, but still, either way, even if I look at that fit today, that fit still went together so fucking dope. Finally get in the party, dude. We're tossing back like shots and everything. There's like these steps that go from the dining room to like the living room den area. So it's maybe like 2 or 3 steps. Bro, I don't know what happened. I don't remember the rest of the night. We threw back shots. The party was dope. Music was dope. Next thing you know, like I'm feeling like I might throw up. I remember going to the back to try to catch air, and then I came back into the house. And then I just started sitting on the steps. Like I'm sitting on the steps with my arms crossed. I have my head down in my arms, and I'm just face down. And there was a picture somebody took of me when I was like, I fell asleep. I literally fell asleep on the steps, but like I'm not falling over or nothing. Like I'm just like, I was asleep. And somebody took a picture of me on those steps, and that picture was like everywhere. Like it was so funny because it was just like, one, the fit looked dope in the picture, but then at the same time, it was like, yo, I really was asleep at the party. But it just looked like it looked like I was just sitting there. Like people probably didn't even know I was asleep. And yeah, dude, I wish I could find that fucking picture, dude. It's not like crazy because you can't, I don't look drunk. I just look like I'm chilling. Like, but that night was crazy mainly because we busted in those people's houses. I mean, that family's house. And it was just crazy, like thinking about it, like all the stuff that was going on when I was younger. I can go on about this like all day long. This might just be like part 1 of crazy drunken stories, but it was wild, bro. Like I was really living it up back then, and not saying like these are like times I really miss or anything like that. Like I said in the beginning of the episode, things start to matter differently. You know what I mean? You still want to have your fun. You still, you're going to go out and have drinks and get your buzz on and all that different stuff. But at the same time, like, dude, back then I was going to parties and was getting faded. Like, dude, I really was. Like, it was just so much wild stuff that was going on, bro. And I was just living in the moment. And it always makes me think about how I could have had stuff more structured, I guess, in a way. But I said in a previous podcast episode that I was living so much for the moments. And I was just like, dude, I was almost saying no. I almost, fuck. I was almost saying no to nothing. Like, if it was like, let's go do this. All right, cool. Like, of course, like I wasn't really hanging around people that were doing like drugs or anything like that. Like they smoked and, like it was some points where it was like people around that were doing like other drugs, but I've never experimented with anything. I think the next most common thing is like people doing pills, and I still have never done that. Not saying that like I'm trying to, but I'm just saying like I wasn't even taking it to that level. So like, later on it got to the point where I was at parties with people, and then I ended up realizing like, oh, they're not just drunk. Like, they're all for other stuff. But it was never for me. So I wasn't never taking it to that level. But still just so much damn fun. Like I have crazy stories for like days, bruh. Like it got to the point where it was like, people were like, yo, you need to write a book. Like, and it's so funny, and I really want to express and voice a lot of the stuff on this podcast, because a lot of these stories are stories that a lot of people haven't heard. Like one thing about me was I wasn't always, well, not always, but I wasn't the person that was like bragging about certain stuff that I was doing. You know what I'm saying? So whether it came with like dealing with women, I mean, I'm probably not really going to get into that stuff. But like, you know, you have guys that kind of brag about certain stuff like that, and I was never like that. So a lot of times it was like my friends had to kind of pull it out of me to get information about stuff. But just as far as like partying itself, it was just, it was so much fun, and I was pretty much doing it almost every single weekend, like just going out and having a lot of fun. And we just had like these friend groups where we would just mob up somewhere, and it was exciting as hell. But then you have to think about it, like, dude, times are different, you know. And it doesn't even really seem like it was that long ago. But really thinking about it now and thinking about how a lot of things are, where it's like, yo, you go to a party with a cool amount of people, you end up having people that are tripping, you know what I mean? And then next thing you know, it's like shootings and all that. Like, nah, we weren't having that. We were really just going out and having a lot of damn fun, you know? Yeah, maybe a fight might break out, but like that was probably it. It was nothing like super crazy. I mean, I have a couple of times where I can recall where shit got dangerous, but for the most part, nah, everything was pretty much chill with us, you know, going to the clubs and doing like these house parties and stuff like that. And like I said, dude, I would continue, but you guys just have to stay tuned for the part 2, because it's definitely going to be a part 2, bro, because this is just so much fun to talk about. Like thinking about some of my first experiences back then, and thinking about how, you know, you look at movies like Superbad or that movie called 21 and Over, and, you know, just other type of teen movies back then, and think about like how in these movies, it's like a lot of the characters are experiencing these things for the first time. And then you have like those memories where you're like, yeah, man, like, you know, certain stuff that you went through. And it's just so exciting, you know, going back and thinking about the history of your life and everything that went on. And these are the moments you really laugh at, you know, with people, with friends and everything like that. And I wish I had Cheryl on this podcast episode so we could both be talking about our crazy stories. But maybe on the next one, on the part 2, we might have her on there. And dude, it might not even just be a part 2. It might be multiple numbers. I'm telling you. Partying got crazy. Partying really got crazy to that point. And it was all exciting, dude. I had the time of my life doing a lot of that stuff. And I was happy that, well, I'm happy now that I went through a lot of that stuff at a young age. Because truth be told, like, yeah, I know some people that still like to party now, but I don't want to be at the age that I'm at and I'm doing all the crazy stuff that I used to do back then, you know? And I get it. Some people weren't living that way back then, or maybe they were and they just never kind of like grew out of it. But yeah, for me, I felt like I just matured in certain ways. And it's like, it's not me saying like, oh, I don't want to go out and turn up and have fun. Not saying that at all. But the way I was doing stuff back then, like, bro, I was going out and getting wasted, like wasted. We're going to talk. I'm going to just say this. I'm going to end this off with, I've had to be carried in a house a few times. like just saying. I'm not proud of it, but I'm saying, like, dude, that's how far shit was getting with some parties. Like, bro, I had to be carried in a house numerous times. And we're just going to leave it at that, man. Stay tuned for more. Stay tuned for that part 2, part 3. I don't even know how many numbers, but that part 2 is going to be coming up of crazy stuff that I went through partying. Man, maybe you guys can relate to it. If you guys are listening on anything where you can comment and leave down, you know, some of your crazy stories or whatever. Can you relate to any of these stories that I said tonight? And be sure to follow my socials, dude. I'll leave everything down below. I know you guys can check it on Apple Music. You know, if you guys are watching on YouTube, check down in the description section. Google Podcasts, I'm not sure. Spotify, I don't think you can, you know, check everything in the description. I have to check and see if you guys can, but I'm not sure. But if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is it's King KD. So it's King KD is my Instagram name. Don't really use Twitter like that anymore, but still you can follow me on there because, you know, I share a lot of my stuff on there. It's underscore is underscore KD 2 underscores. And then you can also follow my Facebook page, which is whoiskd. Check that out, dude. It would mean so much. Just trying to build everything, trying to get everything to be bigger, man. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the podcast episodes. And I do understand, like in the beginning of this podcast show, it felt like most of the episodes were about like, life growth and motivational stuff, and I always wanted it to be about anything, so that was how a lot of episodes were, and there's still going to be more of those episodes, but now we're kind of transitioning into doing more and more stuff. Well, I mean, we're 30 something episodes, and of course we can't just have the same episode, have episodes be about the same stuff all the time, and these are fun. This is why you're going to get multiple parts for this. But thank you for listening, man. You guys stay dope. You guys have been dope. And I will check you out later. Peace.